Are Coatls shockingly good in patch 6.3.3? Yes, I made a lightning pun. Deal with it. The days when wonky animations made this a hard no are long gone, so let's look at what we can get in the here and now. Recruit for 1850 gold and 463 health. On Ultra they land, so to speak, at 7620 health. Armor 70 is lower than a lot of ground-based monsters, but missile resistance 25% helps with your main threat. Spell resistance 15% helps a little with the secondary threat, your fireballs, and so forth. Leadership starts at 80. This is interesting because it's quite shockingly high. Really. They're not invulnerable, but they won't give up too easily. Speed and charge speed are both 80. These are figures in the air, a third less on the ground, but that's not a snail's pace at all. Melee attack starts at 40, and each blow is magical attack, which you don't see a huge ton of naturally in this faction. Attack interval 3.8 is slightly fast, splash target size large means trolls and crypt horrors dilute damage, and max targets damaged by the splash is 4. Melee defense starts at 48, which is just plain high, so the Coatl is difficult to dislodge in a brawl. Weapon strength 430 is split base 120 and armor piercing 310. Decent numbers, with no bonus versus any type of enemy. Charge bonus 40, massive 2500. While good general figures, they're not going to wow people. Bound spells used by each Coatl are Oronon's Thunderbolt and Lesser Chain Lightning, giving it means to clear chaff and to take a chunk out of more resistant opponents in a narrow area. It does not have Predatory Fighter, does have the Primal Instincts passive for when under 50% health, but still in the fight, something Leadership 80 will produce more than some, and finally has the Master of the Sacred Places aura, so when it's flying, it is fully visible, but in 55 meters around it, friendlies on the ground are not. We'll come back to this. In addition to the above, it is a siege attacker, causes fear and terror, and has Wall Breaker. That is new, and that is kind of a big deal. In the Redline skills, Swift Rider returns, offering at 3 pips plus 10% speed and plus 8% weapon strength. At rank 7 and up, Soulbound offers melee attack plus 5, melee defense plus 5, and missile resistance and an extra 15%. That's 40% total from just that. In the tech tree, the Sky is Burning grants, by itself, speed plus 10% and melee attack plus 10. Tablet of Beasts grants plus 2 recruit rank, Great Beasts Rampage grants melee attack plus 5, and Beast Keepers spreads the recruitment cost and upkeep reductions from other dinos to Coatl as well. And yes, that's a total of plus 20 melee attack possible from the tech tree and rank 7 redline boosts. So how do we use the Coatl? This isn't a throwaway section, because little of this is about how you can use the Coatl by itself. That's because using it is kind of simple. If we set aside the niche use of Stalk, which feels like it largely exists for strong artillery factions to focus the Coatl and make its life nasty, brutish, and short, but what do you really use it for? You use it as a flying bully, the only flying monster the faction has independent of characters, the only way you have to add a single entity monster to airborne missile skirmishing, and to provide meat to shield Ripperdactyl riders against top-class targets. Moreover, now it even has Wall Breaker to help. Forget the counter that flying units don't need it. All your ground support absolutely does, including Cold One cavalry, critical to turning things around against the sort of foes that can shred your flying units if involved in a brawl. The Coatl is therefore a fairly general-purpose, quite flexible monster, able to pitch in with the magical attacks, yes, with the spells, yes, but to place single-entity armor-piercing, terror-causing power exactly where you need it, exactly when you need it, regardless of obstructions or interference, and without rampage. Well, maybe that's not literally true if you are fighting hundreds of Chaos Furies, but short of that, and yes, let's be real, you could face that against certain factions, and then need to adjust accordingly. You have unprecedented flexibility. It's just if you're researching the tech, the Sky is Burning, and have redline skill boosts, you're probably using those other units as well, be they Pterodons, be they Ripperdactyls, and they absolutely want, need, and cherish single-entity monster support crashing into the enemy. It's also the case that the spell resistance makes this a perfect blob formation monster for bombardment spells, even to a small extent its own bound spells. So setting aside special sauce that has to do with Tiktaq'to, you basically want them supporting skink priests and slans as much as possible. 4 targets damage max is not quite enough to cosplay a Dreadsaurian after all. Therefore, by design, practical application, and best use of the monster revolves especially heavily around combo play. I'll link to my brief splash mechanics video so you see a little bit of how single entities protect non-single entities around them. And a more defensive, spell-resistant monster like this should absolutely be used with that in mind. Take care, and have fun bogging the enemy down like Lustria personified, and then electrifying the swamp for bonus damage. It's all about the aftermarket value with this model.